In 2007, a family drama based on the novels by Lauren Brooke first aired on CBC. Set against the beautiful and sprawling backdrop of Southern Alberta's foothills, Heartland has become the longest-running scripted drama in Canadian TV history. Centered around the Fleming family and their horse ranch, Heartland has also found a dedicated international audience. The show is entering its 17th season, and this week, Heartland's 250th episode will screen at a gala event as part of the Calgary International Film Festival. I'm very happy today to welcome one of the stars of Heartland to CKUA. It's Michelle Morgan. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad you could spend some time to talk to us today about Heartland and your role on it and just being part of this great series.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to.
Well, first off, you play Lou Fleming, who is people who don't know this, Lou is the elder sibling in this Fleming family. And over the years, Lou has been the brains behind the family, the ranch business, a restaurant owner, the town's mayor. What is
Yeah.
Lou's story this year?
She's the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lou has been the mayor, which was great for me because for years people would say, what do you want Lou to do? And I would kind of joking, but kind of not say Lou should run for mayor. And so that I was really happy when that happened. This year, we're going to actually see Lou have to run again. And she's running against one of her close friends. So I won't spoil what happens there, but Lou basically has a bit of a crisis this year. I think it's really relatable for women my age, late 30s, early 40s, who, are transitioning in their career and their lives. Their children are growing up. It's just been, I think, a super relatable year in terms of the difficulty of what the stage of life can be like.
Well, yeah, you almost grew up on, you weren't a child on the show, but, you've been with the series for 17 years. How have, you've obviously changed as a person. How do you bring that to your character? How do you keep it fresh for you?
Well, in a few ways. I mean, we are always growing and changing as people. And so I like to think that I'm always growing and changing as an actor. I think keeping it fresh is part of the job of an actor, is like finding new inspiration. Around season 5, I started working with an acting coach to help me kind of find new things in the show. As an actor, I'm always training in the off season too. I work with John Cassini in Vancouver at Railtown. But also, life is life, and our show is one of those shows that really is just about life. So there's never there's always more stories to tell. There's always more to discover as we grow and change and evolve.
I feel that some of what goes on in the show, I mean, you've had children too, and Lou has had children. So does that help you connect more to the character as well, if it's kind of going through the
Yeah,
same things?
100%. I mean, I am not my character. Like Amber likes to say that she is very much like Amy, and it's true in many ways, but I'm not necessarily like Lou. But in lots of ways, our lives have paralleled. We both have children, we both have career, we both have struggles as human beings. So yeah, it's definitely, of course, helped me to relate to the story. And I always find that there's some connection, like this season, I'm helping my daughter who's going through some issues with friends. And I've experienced some of that recently with my kids too. And so it hits really close to home. I think I got married on the show the year before I got married in real life. I had a baby on the show a week before I had a baby in real life. So in a lot of ways, it's paralleled
Yeah,
my
yeah,
life.
yeah. Well, as I mentioned, Heartland is the longest running 1 hour scripted show in Canadian TV history. What is the ongoing appeal with Heartland?
I think a lot of people feel like they're part of our family, and it really invites the viewer in to our family. I think there's something really beautiful about it in the sense that it's set in the foothills of Alberta, which, as we know, is really stunning and unique. And you kind of take it for granted as a Canadian, but globally, like Southwest Alberta is such a stunning, special, unique place. And I think people love that. I think people also really love the comfort of our show, because we have our trials and our tribulations and drama, and people have died on the show, but usually things kind of come back around and there is like a beautiful resolution. And I think people find a lot of comfort in our show.
Now, the 250th episode, it's being screened at the Calgary International Film Festival. Is there something special about the episode, and how does it feel to reach that milestone?
Personally, I don't know. I'm not really big on like counting and like, oh, now we've hit this milestone and this milestone. For me, it's more about, are we still making an awesome show? Are people still relating to it? Is it still relevant? Those questions to me are more important than like the number, like tick the box. It's a huge accomplishment that we've come this far and gone this many years. And of course, like I think every episode should be special and unique. But I don't know. I'm just not really big on like the numbers.
Right.
They don't really matter that much to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You've directed some episodes of Heartland. Was directing when you started Heartland, was that something you were interested in, or did it develop while you were doing Heartland?
It did develop. I think just from being on the show for so long and working with 100% like the most talented, incredible directors in Canada. Like we've had them all, and working with these people and watching them and what they do, starting to think like, oh, maybe this is something I could try. I started shadowing directors on the show, and on other series as well. And then I did like a training program with Women in the Director's Chair, which is an awesome program. I directed some shorts and a digital series. And finally, I directed on the show. And really, it is one of those jobs that you can only learn by doing. Like you can't, you can go to school and learn a bunch of stuff, but like you have to do it to see if you can do it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I loved it. I really loved it. And I've directed 6 episodes now.
Right. So when you first did that episode, how did you feel? It must have been just really...
I was terrified. Oh. I was terrified. And I was constantly looking for affirmation. Like, can I do this? Is this right? Like, I feel like this is the right shot. I feel like this is the right thing to do. But I was always like asking for permission. And now, looking back, I definitely don't ask for permission anymore, but you just learn bit by bit, and I'm always learning, and I feel like I always will be learning, but I'm much more confident as a director now, but I had to earn that confidence. Right.
Going back to, I guess, the show, the fan base, I know it does air in different countries in syndication, and I'm wondering, what is the place that you're most surprised to hear fans from?
Well, we have a massive following in Brazil. On my social media, I would say, like, if I look at my stats on social media, Brazil is like the number 2 country. It's like America, then Brazil. I don't know why we're so huge there, but I get a ton of messages from people there, all over Latin America. And for me specifically, I'm Chilean, so I think I hear a lot of the Latin American feedback, but then also all over Europe too, Australia, the UK, really everywhere. And I've met people in Canada who say this is how they've learned English watching the show, and this is how they've like learned about Canadian culture.
Oh, wow.
I've met so many interesting people. I met a woman the other day who was interesting because a lot of the people who come and I meet them, they're either kids or their parents or the grandparents. But this woman came to set in High River the other day who was like maybe 30, from France, and she was crying when she met me, and she was like, I just got through a really tough breakup, and the way I got through it was watching your show. And she related to my character because I was going through a tough breakup on the show. And I was like, oh, like we kind of hit every demographic in some ways.
Yeah. What are you working on outside of Heartland?
Well, I'm hoping to direct another series. I'm developing a feature with my sister, Wendy Morgan, who is also an amazing director. She does television, music videos, commercials. We're developing a feature together, and I'm also developing a Western feature with Telefilm.
Oh, great. Keeping busy.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. It's been great to chat today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. That was actor Michelle Morgan, who stars on Heartland. The 250th episode of the long-running show will screen at the Calgary International Film Festival on Thursday evening at the Jubilee Auditorium. For tickets, go to ciffcalgary.ca. Heartland Season 17 premieres on Sunday, October 1st at 7 p.m. on CBC.